Is e-cigarette safe? What is an e-cigarette? E-cigarette is a device that looks like a cigarette, also known as electronic nicotine delivery systems, and comes in many shapes and sizes. It contains heating elements and e-liquid. What are the ingredients in e-cigarette? Nicotine, propylene glycol, carcinogens, acrolein, diacetyl, diethylene glycol, metal and benzene.
How does e-cigarette work? E-cigarette contains mouthpiece, atomizer as heating element and vaporizes liquid, a battery, a sensor and a solutions chamber. User sucks on the mouthpiece and heating element starts to vaporizes the liquid and user inhale the vaporized liquid. The prevalence of e-cigarette use is among adults in Malaysia. According to National E-Cigarette Survey 2016, a multi-stage stratified cluster sampling household survey was done to represent all Malaysian adults aged 18 years and above at national and urban, rural level. In that survey, a total of 4,288 adults from all the states were selected and weighted using complex sampling method to represent 19 million Malaysians. From that survey, about 11.9% are ever user which they tried ECV even a single puff. 3.2% are current user of ECV during the last 30 days. 8.6% are former user since the last 30 days. 2.3% are dual user, currently using both ECV and tobacco cigarette. The prevalence of all type of e-cigarette use was higher in urban than in rural areas. Current e-cigarette users were likely to be younger, males, and with higher education level. Among current e-cigarette users, about 74% also smoked conventional cigarettes, also known as dual user. The use of e-cigarette among university students in Malaysia. Based on Tobacco AHMAD, e-cigarette survey among Malaysian adolescents TECMA 2016. A two-stage stratified cluster sampling was designed to produce a nationally representative data with a target of 14,833 students going adolescents from 138 schools from 15 states. From that survey, ever user of e-cigarettes, vape which they tried ECV even a single puff is about 19.1%, while dual user which they currently using both ECV and tobacco cigarette is about 5.2%. Current e-cigarettes, vape users which they using ECV during the last 30 days is 9.1%, approximately around 0.3 million. From 9.1% of current users, 16% are boys and 2.6% are girls. The teenagers who smoke once per day is 40.9% and 33.9% smoke more than one time per day. Worldwide usage of e-cigarette. It is estimated a total of 58.1 million vapers worldwide in 2018. By reference to market growth, the data were adjusted to arrive at estimates for 2020. For the year 2020, the projection is for 68 million vapers globally. Currently, Russia has a high number of e-cigarettes users with 11.9% of its population. The lowest percentage of e-cigarettes users in a country is Brazil with 0.43% of its population. Malaysia has 5.5% of e-cigarettes user. Why do people use e-cigarette?
People use e-cigarette because wanted to try e-cigarettes, vape, to quit tobacco smoking, to replace tobacco smoking, to reduce cost of smoking. Like the taste and smell of e-cigarettes, vape. E-cigarettes, vape is popular. E-cigarettes, vape is safer than tobacco. Influenced by family and friends. Social influence, follow the trend, commercialized by celebrity, idol. Addicted or enjoy e-cigarettes, vape. Mood disorder, stress, depression. Ease of accessibility. Differences between e-cigarette and cigarette. Firstly, e-cigarette do not have tobacco while cigarette have. E-cigarettes nicotine is derived from tobacco and is added to the e-liquid, while cigarettes nicotine is naturally present in tobacco. E-cigarette is battery-powered device while cigarette manufactured of lead. E-cigarette have cartridge that contains liquid while cigarette doesn't. E-cigarette delivers nicotine by heating the liquid while cigarette burn the nicotine. E-cigarette produces vapor while cigarette produce smoke. E-cigarette comes in 100 of flavors while cigarette only have tobacco and methyl flavors.
What are the advantages of e-cigarettes compared to cigarettes? People vape to help them quit smoking, but it is not yet approved by the FDA as a quit smoking aid. It's in many shapes and sizes which make it appear to look more modern and stylish compared to a traditional cigarette. It contains fewer toxic chemicals than the smoke from the regular cigarette. The odor is reduced compared to regular cigarettes. And it is easier to smoke indoors. Is e-cigarettes safe to use? Yes, e-cigs are less harmful than traditional cigarettes, but that does not mean they are safe. It is because e-cigarettes aerosol still contains nicotine and other toxic chemicals that are harmful. Nicotine in it is addictive and not risk-free. The aerosol exhaled by the user can still be inhaled by the bystanders, just like a traditional cigarette. Nicotine exposure can harm the children's brain development. E-cigarettes can cause serious health diseases to the smokers. It is not approved by FDA as stop smoking aid. Can e-cigarette help adults in quitting smoking cigarettes? E-cigarettes cannot help adult to quit smoking because of no safety proof. E-cigarette is currently not approved by the FDA as a quit smoking aid. It contains nicotine. As stated by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, e-cigarettes also contains nicotine which can cause addiction to the user. It causes dual user. A study from CDC reported that using e-cigarettes in an attempt to stop smoking can cause them to not stop smoking, instead they continue to smoke both cigarettes and e-cigarettes. E-cig may help in quitting smoking. A study from Cochrane found that e-cig with nicotine can help adults to stop smoking in long term compared to e-cig without nicotine. However, there are some limitations to the existing research, including the small number of trials, small sample sizes, and wide margins of error around the estimates. What is the risk of e-cigarettes? Nicotine addiction, mouth and throat irritation, coughing and wheezing, worsening asthma. Effect of e-cigarettes in the social and cultural aspect. E-cigarettes causes renormalization of smoking in society. Nowadays vaping has become a norm and a trend in the community, especially among the youths. It is considered as a less harmful alternative to smoking, which encourages people to try them. Increased risk for smokers to switch to e-cigarettes instead of stop smoking. It is considered as a safer option or substitute for smoking. Increased risk for non-smokers using e-cigarettes due to pure curiosity and the cultural trend in the community. They are attracted to marketing strategies from various sources. E-cig encourages nicotine addiction among the youths. Instead of being used as a tobacco cessation method, many flavors are introduced such as white chocolate, peanut butter cookie, fruit flavor and other various selection of flavor which elevate the usage drastically. Youths may start vaping due to peer pressure or even family influences. Vaping has evolved and emerged into a culture in the community through trade shows, fairs, and conventions. It exists in products, parties, and even vaping contests. Management and control of e-cigarettes. Testing for e-cigarettes product safety by manufacturers. For instance, lithium-ion batteries in e-cigarettes can explode due to destruction or extreme heat. FDA regulation. To regulate e-cigarettes and any product meeting the definition of tobacco product under the Tobacco Control Act. Clean indoor air policies, in which e-cigarette use is banned in places where cigarette smoking is prohibited. The restriction is implemented on marketing strategies, especially on social networking sites. Every labeling and advertising must be correct and not misleading, or else it will be considered as breaching the Tobacco Control Act. Prohibition of selling e-cigarettes to adolescents below 18 years old. Prohibition of any way of e-cigarettes that can reach the youth, such as vending machines that sell e-cigarettes. Age verification is required for every purchase of e-cigarettes or tobacco products. Increase the tax imposed on e-cigarettes. And lastly, placing the nicotine-containing e-cigarettes under medical product classification. Only e-cigarettes without nicotine are allowed for sale. For instance, Japan has implemented this method. It's the end. Thank you for your attention.